It's time for your weekly Magical Girl News Bulletin. Today is March 22nd, 2026. In case you are seeing this in the far future, always check back every Sunday for more Magical Girl news. There's always stuff going on, literally all the time, and we already know we're going to get more news next week, so you should definitely be following the account if you want to keep up to date on Magical Girl news. My name is Ayumi, and I am a massive Magical Girl fan who has watched at least probably well over at this point 300 shows in the genre, adding one more to the list in a few days. Let's get into this week's news. So first one, of course, last Sunday night was the Oscars. We have K-pop Demon Hunters winning 2 Academy Awards, which were well deserved, of course. Magical girls are actually popular and are capable of success if you allow them, if you give them that space. Next, we have 2 pieces of news from the world of Magical Girl Raising Project. So first is an update about the live reading that's coming in June 20th and 21st. We knew previously that it was being called Magical Girl Raising Project 4, or IV, and now we have 2 subtitles. So basically, it looks like we're getting 2 stories. One is called Paradoxical Plot, and the other is called Criminal Sisters. And we also got the casting for both, and that's super exciting. We got the second PV for Magical Girl Raising Project Restart, which is the adaptation of the second novel series, which is coming in the fall. Fall generally means that final 3 months of the year, which means it should be premiering in October, if not late September. Again, we'll have to wait for more official dates. Next, we got news about Magilumiére, Magical Girls Inc. This is an adaptation of a most excellent comic that was produced in Shonen Jump Plus, and you can read it for free if you're outside of Japan on Manga Plus right now. So you should go do that if you haven't already. Season 1 was awesome, and they announced Season 2 right away, which just filled all our hearts with joy. We have this first teaser visual. We also now have the news that this will be premiering in July. So that is the second show we know for sure is coming in July. So again, great time to be a Magical Girl fan. There's literally so much content happening. Next in the news, we got the start date for the Black Cat and Witches classroom. You might also see this title as the classroom of a black cat and a witch, whatever. This is not my favorite series, but it is a shonen series, so just definitely keep that in mind if you're going to check this out. But we did get the premiere date and more information on it. So April 12th is the premiere of this series, and it will be going for 2 cours. So it'll start in April and end in September. So that's cool. Jumping over to some great news, Maebashi Witches announced that we're going to be getting a compilation movie. Basically, what this means is they're taking the series that aired last year and turning it into a film. We don't know if it's going to be 1 film or 2 or what the whole situation is yet. I've said this time and time again, Maebashi Witches, not just the best Magical Girl series of 2025, might be, for me, the best, especially short form series of the decade. If you love Magical Girls, this is a series that you gotta watch. Finally, let's talk about new comics. So first, we have the premiere of a brand new comic which came out over on NicoManga. This is actually a user-submitted one, so this is like an indie comic. This is called Chaos Mix. Now, they've only released part 1 of chapter 1, which I did read. It is basically the story of a ninja who has decided to kind of move to the big city despite his father's wishes, and ends up running into a magical girl upon finding a monster. And so they're both like, huh? Huh? So we don't really know a whole lot, but it is, the story of some goofy middle schoolers. And so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of silly antics between the magical girl and the ninja. Yeah, so far looks promising. And then moving on to print releases, we have 2 volumes of comics that dropped this week. So first one is the second half of Magical Girl Yamada. This is the continuation of the mockumentary series that dropped last year, which I don't even know how to describe this. It is a horror series, right? It's very unsettling. The original mockumentary, while very good, it was quite a journey, is also very frustrating because it doesn't have a satisfying conclusion. So this comic does kind of retell some of the story and then get us to that satisfying conclusion, which was basically the answer to the mystery of the main series. Definitely not for the faint of heart, and this one is interesting in that it is technically part of the genre, but there's not actually any magic in it. It's just all freaky deaky human stuff. Last but not least, the third volume of Magical Girl Holowitches dropped this week. So, if you're not familiar, this was and is now finished the comic, which is centering 6 members of Hololive in a Magical Girl alternate universe. It's definitely a very fascinating iteration of the genre, and I'll be happy to talk about it one of these days for my Monday series, Maho Shoujo Manga Monday, in a few months after I've finished all the series that are currently being serialized. This was, an interesting run, and then things kind of slowed down as some of the members started graduating. Thank you, as always, for tuning into the Magical Girl news bulletins. Again, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Magical Girl news, the best thing to do is follow the account to make sure you don't miss any videos. And I also, of course, cover a different Magical Girl comic every Monday. If you want to support me and my work in my obsession with magical girls, feel free to support via my Throne page or my Ko-fi page. I forgot to mention there was a Cat Witch collaboration with a baseball team. I can't remember which one. This is the Spica Kigurumi that showed up. Anyway, bye!